Oh no, he's on. Oh, it's a drum! So after a pretty mediocre practice, my plan was to work this area here down into the back of this cove. Unfortunately, two kayakers pushed past us into this tiny cove and monopolized that spot. Didn't even say a word to us. Kind of bad etiquette, guys. They could have at least talked to us, but that completely dishelved my plan, which was essentially to work back into this cove, fishing topwater, getting that early morning topwater bite, then make my way to the secondary spot, which had docks, underwater structure, where I was fishing like a Neko rig and wacky rig. It's a striper. Striper. That was a striper. Yeah. Big one. So I can't seem to keep the white bass and striper off my line, so I decided to go into some of these docks, and there's really nothing happening like there was in practice. That, I think, is another striper. That's a white bass. That's not good. Is that white bass? It's gotta be right. So at this point I've caught like 6 or 7 striper and I don't have a scoreable bass, so in my mind I'm like, okay, I gotta get out of here. We're gonna go to the primary spot. It's a mix of underwater brush piles, some docks, it's got some deeper stuff. There was a mix of striper, smallmouth, and largemouth, so there's a good topwater bite and a good finesse bite. Oh, you kidding me? I lost it. So I'd be lying if I'd said I wasn't a little bit frustrated at this point, but we do finally get on a roll here with the finesse bite we were looking for. Go. Oh. Wow, that was lucky. Oh, it's a giant white bass. Look at that. That's a white, that's not a striper. Dude.
Definitely white.
Now, while it might seem counterproductive, the plan was to kind of work through these schools of striper and white bass because there were some decent sized largemouth and smallies mixed in with them. I mean, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'm going to sit here and catch them because I think we can work through and get a couple of decent fish out of it. Switching over.
The spook might actually do better.
That's what I just got.
Can't believe I lost that one at the dock. That was so dumb. There we go. Yeah, it's not bad. I did my patented behind the back hook set. I mean, if it turns into a spinning rod game, I can deal with that. You know how I do. I've caught 8 Striper and white bass today, by the way. 8.
Bumped it and I just...
Oh, there we go. Oh, that feels like a good one.
Yeah, it did. Don't do that.
I could do this all day. Man, this is a good one.
Yeah, it looked like it's 17. It might be longer, 18.
I don't think he'll hit 18, but... he might be 17. I was like panicking. I was like, wait, do we have a code today? And then I realized, like, no, that's tomorrow. Pretty one. That's a good one. That's a healthy one, man. There we go. Are you kidding me? It's a white bass on the Ned rig. No, it's a white. So at this point, Ryan and I had split up. I'm still working the spot, but I'm running into more and more white bass, so I decided to move to my primary spots here, which are like some of the milk run spots that I had waypoints for. And I make it over to this dock, which was one of my big spots during practice, and I hook into the biggest fish of day one, and unfortunately this happens. So needless to say, I was a little frustrated with myself, and I decided to actually make a move back to the primary spot, and I actually get out the live scope to see if I can figure out where these fish might have gone, because I know these brush piles are holding fish. And luckily I do see some, and we kind of get on a roll here to fill out our limit. So I decided to take some time to submit the fish I've caught, just because signal was kind of dicey, and that's when I run into these buzzards that I see watching the banks, and they've actually got a dead bass pulled up on the bank there. I don't know how you can see it, and it's weird because it's almost like an omen that these guys let me know that there might be some fish around here, because there's a lot of little fish pushed up to the bank too. Hello. That's what I've been smelling over here. You guys stink. That is a good one too. Holy crap, why did you fight so poorly? Alright guys, there's our limit. That's the limit maker, 18-incher. So yeah, we got our limit, and I decided I didn't want to wear that spot out anymore. We had 80 inches, I just wanted to go get a good kicker. Unfortunately, all we find are rats. No, you stupid rat. Yeah, I knew you were little on the live scope. I should have known better. So after an up and down day one, I decided to go straight to my secondary spot because Ryan decided to start at the spot we started at yesterday, but he was going to start further in the back where those guys had cut us off because he thought that he had discovered some stuff that could be pretty good. So I decided just to go here, let him have full crack at that since it was something he had discovered and I didn't really do that well anyways, and go straight to this spot, hopefully thinking that, yeah, maybe those schools that we saw during practice had finally moved into this spot. If not, you know, my secondary thought was, okay, well, there's going to be plenty of fish on those docks and brush piles that I got from day one. Maybe we can get a good limit and then start our milk run, because my plan was to pull the plug on this pretty quickly and start our milk run, which we'll see after this. Wiper. And unfortunately, we ran into the same problem that we ran into day one, which is just a lot of white bass and striper. And if I had the patience to maybe work through some of these busting schools, I probably would have done it because I know there's some largemouth in there, but we decided to just make a move. So this is where things get weird. I'm basically crossing the lake to spot number 2, and I run into this giant, and I mean giant school of fish, which is clearly striper and white bass. And I just couldn't resist, so I spend a good amount of time catching them here, and it's pretty much fish every catch. It's just like you throw it out there and you just get one. Follow the school around and just catch it in the beginning. I've never seen it. But after catching like 12 striper, I decided to just kind of get back focused, had a little bit of fun, cleared my head, and get back to the milk run and just checking out some of the docks on my way to the spot. None of these panned out though, so unfortunately I did not pick up any of the fish that I was hoping to off these docks like I did yesterday. So I pulled the plug on this. Didn't seem like they were there like they were the previous days, and we're going to the banks, which is where things get a little crazy. So we finally make it over here towards these banks with the sticks poking out of the water. And these banks are interesting because it's super shallow and a lot of the bass boats fish from the bank out. And my plan was actually to fish parallel with them with the Newport and just cruise very slowly through them parallel with the bank. I'm not quite set up fully yet because this area right here is not really the best because it's more shallow, but you'll see as we get around here. We're actually going to hook into a really good one that would have changed our fortunes tremendously, but unfortunately disaster strikes. If you follow me on Instagram, you know exactly what's about to happen. But let's watch the clip and then I'll catch back. Oh my gosh, that was so dumb. So yeah, kind of a disaster show right there. Unfortunately, what happened is the fish was really close to the net. I thought I could lunge and get him in it. He hits the edge of the net, and I feel myself tipping, so I just bail. It's about 2 feet of water, 3 feet of water. Lose the fish, get a little wet, get a little shaken in my confidence, you know, feeling kind of dumb. Luckily, no one saw me. Luckily, we didn't lose anything. I think it's a great example of why you wear PFDs, why you practice safety on your kayak, knowing when to bail versus flipping, because I could have very easily have tried to stay in the kayak and then the kayak would have flipped and that would have been complete disaster. So at this point, I'm feeling a little rattled, to be honest with you. I hadn't had a great day one. Day two was not going well. We only have one fish in the boat and we just lost one in probably 21 to 23 inches, maybe more. I mean, it's a very large fish. You can probably tell. GoPro, it stretches a lot, so that makes them look kind of skinny. But it was a really long fish, and it was unfortunate to lose it. As you see me kind of gaining my composure here, we're going to regroup. Unfortunately, my GoPro does get a little wet, so we're not going to see all of it, but we're going to see the fish that kind of turns the tide here in just a sec. Good one.
That's the redemption right there.
That'll certainly help. 18 and a half. Skinny, but so unfortunately, this is the point where the GoPro starts to really give me problems. I'm guessing because it probably got a little bit of water in it. But to explain what happened is the topwater bite didn't seem to be there like it was, 30 minutes earlier. There's a lot of boat traffic. There's a lot of chops. So we actually switched to the chatterbait and ran it through these twigs that were sticking up. We ended up catching 2 more pretty decent fish, pretty much back to back here coming up. And it's kind of where the GoPro cut off. And then we sit at 4 fish for the rest of the day until 2:20, where I finally went back to the spot we started at on day 2, flipping those brush piles around the dock, and caught my 5th fish on the wacky rig. So really it came down to topwater chatterbait and wacky rig / Neko rig, depending on how deep it was. So it was a pretty tough day, and it certainly wasn't the day I was looking to have after almost flipping the kayak, but we recovered, and I think this is a good example of persevering when you have bad luck in a tournament. So when it's all said and done, I had a pretty good time at Possum Kingdom. We caught a lot of fish. I can't complain getting a top 50 considering how unlucky I was, losing a lot of fish and just really not fishing well. Practice, I caught a ton of fish. I've caught multiple 20-inchers. Couldn't seem to find them during the actual tournament, which was unfortunate. Couldn't find the smallmouth bite that I found early on during practice either, as this clip here is just from practice. But I can't complain too much because this was my first national tournament in over 3 years, so pre-COVID. And I was honestly feeling a little rusty, but it felt good to kind of get back on it and get a top 50 finish. Going into lacrosse, which was exactly 30 days from the end of that clip. So keep an eye out for that. That will be the next edit up on the channel. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and we'll see you at the next tournament.